Hey everybody, it is Friday evening, September 16th, 2016, and we're going to do a little bit of a different video tonight because I anticipate this perhaps being, if not the last one of the rare ones that we'll be doing most likely going forward, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But I've been fairly silent lately on social media for a number of reasons. And frankly, had a very good friend of mine reach out to me and kind of ask me to take a look at kind of how things are evolving a bit with the blog and the videos and whatnot. And I did that. And it gave me some pause for looking back over the years and seeing what have we tried to do and where are we now. And I've often said that when this stops being valuable or fun or takes up too much energy, if you will, keeping these things going, then maybe it'd be time to stop and at least take a long pause, as I did in the early 2000s. So I'm going to do that. And I want to talk a little bit, though, on where we've been and what I've always tried to do. With some degrees of success, better than others at times. If those that have followed me, just kind of bear with me for a bit, because it goes back to the 90s, where through teaching and developing some models and making a ton of trading mistakes, I was led into this business. And those of you that know my early story, including the first part of the book, talks a lot about that. And the reason that I got involved on the public platform to teach or to share my journey was because I felt there was a need for, I use the term transparency, and that may not be the best term, but I thought there was a need to personalize the trading business, especially in the age where the internet was coming of age and where anonymity was rampant, and you kind of didn't know who was who, and still don't to a large extent. So going back to the days of Larry Connors and on to what became of this site, it was always trying to put a face to a trader, not the best trader, not the optimal trader, not the non-error prone trader, but a trader, and that trader just happened to be me. And so what we try to do over the years with this is to put a face to that trader. And so it's always been my intent to take a bit of a different path than others may have, and that's to I've always said talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we've tried to do that again through these eyes, through these hands, through the experiences, through the lessons, through the pain, through the successes, and so that's always been our mission, and I think there have been times when we've done well with that, and I think there have been times when we've gotten away from that, and I think we might have been getting away from that a little bit through the fairly anonymous environment of social media, for example. And I've got some notes for once I've actually wrote down because I want to get a few thoughts out. So, I've always tried to do things that I thought would be helpful for me as a trader or helpful for the industry. So we started way back in the late 90s, early 2000s with some of the columns for trading markets. We built some simulations which were received pretty well. Then took a break for several years, basically went off the grid completely because I wanted to focus on my own trading, which I did, and then felt that I had discovered some of the key takeaways, at least in my trading career, that I didn't hear discussed that much under the guise of a lot of smoke and mirrors out there. So I went back on the grid and have tried to in various ways make that information known, and my passion for it and my conviction with it in terms of how it's helped me and some of the very hard lessons that I've learned. And so we did that via the Live journal in the mid to late 2000s, trading journal that you could just look over my shoulder with. And that evolved into a little bit more of a formal education effort at the request of many of you. And then evolved into the wonderful years of MF Global. And then most recently even doing some experimenting with social media, Twitter and that kind of thing. And so it's always been, back to the putting a face to a trader type of perspective, and trying to make you feel that you're not alone in this. And that's why I always felt it was important to share my challenges and my struggles and my pain as much, if not more, than any degree of success that I may have had, because it's all a part of it, and it will always continue to be a part of this business. And for those of you who may think that I like to talk about the bad stuff a little bit excessively, I can tell you there are as many people out there that think I talk about the good stuff excessively. So, maybe that says that we've reached some kind of a balance. I don't know. But, again, what we've tried to do here is far from perfect, trying to put a face, trying to put reality to this business. And so when I look back at the things that not just I have done, but those that have worked alongside me and with me have done, I think that hopefully we've made a dent into the educational side of this business through sharing some reality, and at times it probably morphed into more of a reality show, which was the farthest from my intent. This was never ever meant to be, look at Don Miller, look at what he can do, look at how he can succeed, how he can flop. It just happens to be the name that's associated with his trader, to try to personalize it a little bit for you. So when I look back, and again, based on a lot of feedback that you folks have provided over the years, both good, constructive, and those that feel that I should just go away. As I said in the book, I love and respect you all, and please take any of my comments over the years with the intent and the passion that I have for this industry and the conviction that I have, because there are some things that I will take to my grave, knowing full well that they are truths, and sometimes that can have you come across as a pompous ass, and I probably have at times, and for that I ask for your forgiveness and indulgence. And so I've kind of looked at where we've come now and some of the things I've been doing lately, and I feel it's time to back down. There's so much of a library out there. There's so much intellectual capital that's out there on a free basis in terms of the diary of the 2008 to 2011 time frame. Day by day, for a good piece of that, day by day journaling, getting inside the mind of a trader, what went well, what didn't go well, when I was on my game, when I was off my game. And one of the truths that comes across when I think back to all of this is, and I think I closed the book with this, in terms of, find that window of opportunity. Find that window of opportunity in your trading day, in your trading month, in that year, in your career, or it may apply to something completely outside of trading, but there will be windows of opportunity, pockets of opportunity at every stage in every way in your life. And my suggestion to all of you and to myself still is to jump through that window of opportunity when it arrives with both feet. Because you don't know how open that opportunity, how long that window of opportunity will be open. Trading days are really great when you look at that, because, there really is only one or two opportunities during the day, and you have to be there, you have to be present, and you have to execute well in order to take full advantage of that. And if you're not able to, then, you can just get yourself caught up in a loop and never get out of that spiral. So, whether again it's a trading day or your trading career or some other endeavor, that's one of the key takeaways that I have taken through the 20 plus years that I've been doing this. And when you go back to some of the people I have worked with, they would concur based on their experience that it's all about what we've always referred to as creating outliers. About when you are in that moment, whatever that moment may be, to step on that gas and accelerate, and over time understand when that is and when that isn't. I didn't really want to get into a lot of trading theory or technical stuff tonight, but that certainly comes to mind when I look back, and has been one of the one of the intentions of this this effort to make that known, make that concept known in so many different ways, whether it was through the live diary of my life and my day and my hour, or whether it was through the Trading After Dark series, which remains out there. I know I haven't done any new ones, but there's 6 or 7 of them still out there, and there's a link on the site to get there. A couple of other comments or concepts that I wanted to chat about tonight before we close things up for a bit. Is I've often made the comment that I think trading is simple, and I want to make sure that everybody understands what I mean by that, because trading is very simple, but it is not easy, and there's a very important distinction between the two. So if you ever come across any of the material that I've been involved in, and in the spirit of trying to simplify things, if it comes across as, oh, this is easy, it's not easy. I've gone on record many times by saying it is one of the most difficult challenges there can be. It involves money, it involves emotion for those that are discretionary traders, it involves business planning. You're in a small business if you're doing this by yourself, which already has a very high degree of failure rate, and beyond that, the trading population has a greater degree of failure rate, so there's 2 strikes against you. And one reason for that, though, is that we tend to complicate it. We tend to overcomplicate it, and we tend to get ourselves in loops or spirals that we can't get out of. And we want to show people or show the market how smart we are, or show other people through social media how smart we are. And that's where I think we do fail, and where I can fail at times, and I do fail at times, in terms of trying to make this a little bit more complicated, more complex, and more serious than it really needs to be. And that when one relaxes and just lets it flow, that and yet can accelerate when one needs to, that's what it's all about. So I still do believe, and will always believe, that this business is very simple, but it is not easy. Another concept that I've jotted down here is try to have some fun with what we've done here. Whether it's the videos or the training efforts or the Trading After Dark, or going back to the Sims and the articles back in the 90s or late 90s and early 2000s, it was to have some fun with this. And I'll be the first to admit that I take myself way too seriously at times. Go on record, push that all over social media, okay? But it comes back to what this has always been about. I am human. And it's our humanity, and it's I hope a recognition of our weaknesses, where our true strength comes out, and not our true strength, but in my case the strength of my God. And I'm not here to lecture or preach or anything, but I know that when I try to do things on my own, I fail, and I fail miserably, and I fall in that trap a lot. And it's looking to that strength beyond me and tapping into that, no matter what it may be in my life. And that doesn't mean if you believe in God, all of a sudden you're going to be a great trader. It doesn't work that way, folks. But it is a part of something that is far more important to me. And I continually am reminded by that, hour by hour, day by day, week by week. So, that's all I really will say about that. But, this has been, again, about trying to share with you a story of a journey of a trader who just happens to have a name and happens to have a face. And if you can learn through some of the missteps that I've made, as well as take away some of those just gems, not because I did them or uncovered them. It probably took me far too long to uncover them, but perhaps I was able to put that in a slightly different way, slightly different perspective through a story or a parable, then and that hopefully can help you avoid the pitfalls, avoid falling in the cracks, or at least minimize that damage. Or if you do, realize that we still do too. And it's an issue of catching yourself when you do, and catching yourself sooner, and life balance and all that stuff that I know I need to be a lot better at. So again, I look at where we are now, and I don't really see much more benefit for my using Twitter a whole lot. Many of you know I was very reluctant. I was years late to the game, as many people said, for some reason that maybe I didn't know then that I know now. And it's not just because of the minority out there that like to heckle you, but it's very difficult to discuss whether it's live trade setups or whether it's even about something you see and you want to talk about in the 100 and whatever it is characters that you have, because again, it's simple but it's not easy, and there's so much beyond that. Those were really meant for the people that have known who I was and who have followed me, and for all of you, and the vast majority of feedback has been so very constructive and supportive, and I thank you for that over all of the years. And for those of you who have either disagreed or heckled or whatever, I still love you. I still respect you. You have helped me become stronger, either because it has made me reevaluate my own convictions in trading and life, and either attest to them again, or it's made me take a look at them with an improved degree of objectivity and make some course corrections as well. So I thank you for that. So a bit of a different video tonight. Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this blog. The live blog started back, I think it was in 08, July of 08. So it's been 8 years, and then you've got to go before that to the trading markets activity and some of that earlier stuff. But I always kept coming back to I'm a trader. Whether it's full-time, part-time, trading well, trading not well, I'm a trader, and I'm not a writer. I'm not a spokesperson. I'm not any of those words that you want to apply. And I think we've kind of gotten to the point where it's kind of gone in that area. And so, if anything, this is a reminder for me that that none of us are above this business. That we are all here to help each other, and we may disagree on style or content or objective or any of that stuff, but we're all in this together, and it's an industry that I have too much respect for to have any of us go in the tank, when it comes to that. So I've very recently, last few months, I've tried to use the phrase love, uplift, and inspired, because I think we need so much of that in this business. Again, this business, is simple, but it's not easy. And we need all the mutual support we can get. And my suggestion for all of you and for myself as I go forward is to latch on to that group of people, that you can trust, that you can lean on, that know you, that can lift you up, that can be challenging for you, to you when you need it. Again, I've had that recently. Which has been very, very healthy for me, and it's going to allow me to move forward with hopefully all that I know, all that I've learned, but with a bit of a different perspective. I think anytime that any of us are in the public media, it has a dark side to it that we can fall into if we're not careful, and become a bit self-serving in the spirit of trying to enlighten and educate, and inspire, and all that good stuff. And that's always been a tough line for any of us, I think, to stay on that right side of. I don't want to go too long tonight. It's almost 20 minutes. But again, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be taking a break from all of this. But I'm still going to continue to trade. I do trade every day. Many days are good, many days are not good, and it's all about the outlier. It's all about maximizing it when it's good and minimizing it when it's not good. And that's the business, folks. That's what this is all about. And in the end, whether it's the end of the day, week, month, year, career, that's when it's time to kind of look back and assess, okay, did we do more good than not? Did we maximize the good? And that's why I thought with the book and with this log, it was very important to share the entire spectrum. If you remember in the back of that book, that chart that's got every day's results for, 7 or 8 years plotted. It's very important to see all the dots, all the scattergraph, and some of those large outliers to the good and to the not good. As long as you can keep everything on average above and have more outliers up top than you down the bottom, that's what this business is all about. So I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to trade. The material will remain available, all the free stuff, all the formal content on donmillereducation.com. Will we do more live efforts going forward? I don't know. Again, the feedback certainly suggests we should, maybe annually, but I'm going to play that by ear. But right now I'm focusing on my trading, my life, and I pray and I hope that all of this material that's out there for you will find a place on your bookshelf as a tool for your toolbox. Go back to it. I have a bookcase back here full of books. Go back to it. Regurgitate it. Reinforce concepts. If you find yourself in a slump, go back to some of this material. If it can help you, great. If it doesn't, please move on. It's a book on the shelf, if you will. So again, this is not about me. It's not going to be about me tonight. But I wanted to share because I've had a fairly good degree of mail, kind of saying, "Where are you? Have you blown up?" and that kind of stuff. No, I haven't. But it's time to reassess and just have us all focus on our efforts. If I've been able to put a name and a face on this for the last decade plus, I hope it's been helpful. I'll continue to feel passionate about this. You'll probably see me from time to time. Maybe we'll do a quarterly deal going forward. I don't know. Those of you who know me, you know how to reach me. And we're going to leave it at that for now. So thank you so much. I hope you found tonight somewhat enlightening in terms of where I've been. But again, what's most important is maximizing your strengths and your gifts and your opportunities, and to take that going forward. That's what's the most important for me, and what we've always tried to be about. Again, to varying degrees of success. But again, thank you. Have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you whenever. Take care. Bye.